Good night, everybody. Sorry about the camera quality around here. It's bad. I don't have a computer right now. My computer is kind of like not functioning as well, so I don't have that regular HD quality kind of videos I'm gonna show you. But I'm gonna make the most of it, of course. Um, it's been a while. How long was my last video? I think 3 months or more. I think the last video I did was the MSI one about the MSI format changes and stuff. Um, but that's gone, and then the summer season happened, and that's gone, and then Worlds happened, and that's gone as well. So, really, really, so much stuff, I missed, and just like that, man. We are in off season. We are in the typical time where there'll be so much moves being made, so much off-season stuff going around, free agency and stuff before next season. And I think next season will be huge. I will touch on that a couple of minutes. May I say that Worlds 2020 is probably the best World that I ever watched. Now, to put this into context, this was my first year of watching virtually all the League of Legends games. All of them. From play-ins, to groups, to knockout stages, all the way to the grand finals. I sneak into in 2019 when G2 lost to FPX, so I didn't catch all of the games. I have to wake up pretty early to watch the 2020 Worlds, which is taking place in China and because of COVID stuff. So I never get to catch all of that. 2021 was in Iceland, and I have to wake up bright and early to watch all the matches. But I managed to get a couple of matches here. But this was my very first World Championship that I get to watch all games live, all of them, even through the first day when they have like 10 hours of COVID situations and delays and all this kind of stuff. I get to watch them all, and I have to say that Worlds for me was probably the most entertaining, most incredible in terms of storylines, in terms of games. I mean, Worlds has been incredible for me. It's been a wonderful experience. The whole DRX Miracle Run was incredible. T1 redefined themselves, rejuvenated on the Faker. JDG, 369 being the top laner, and there were so many good storylines. The final itself was great. Not the most amazing in terms of gameplay. There were a lot of fumbling, but entertaining, dramatic. It was fun. Okay, so I should try to spend some time doing Worlds, and then I can get to the off-season stuff. So first, the World stuff. Now, I'm not gonna go to every single matchup. That will be boring for all of you guys. It will be boring for you, for me, for everybody else. So I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna try to pinpoint some of my best moments from Worlds, some of my favorite moments to Worlds, and say rambling along. So I'll pick this, and then I'll tell you the details and all this stuff. France's spot gap moment against Fnatic. It was incredible. I mean, I remember the misfortune R spraying around him, killing the hit Braum and stuff, and then he popping up with the bot gap, of course, in his arm. His Loud team beating Fnatic. I feel like Loud were a pretty decent team overall. But I feel like because of the whole screw up of the playing system and the whole format about it, we never get to see Loud played deep into the tournament. I mean, they got beaten by DFM. And I just feel horrible because I think Loud's record did not dictate how great they were playing throughout the tournament. And I feel like, first tournament for them, first year for some of these players against Towns. Of course, he was involved in the big kaboom moment against Alliance way back when. So I felt like Loud were incredible, even though the record does not say so. I feel like a lot were good. Um, Other favorite moment is DRX being RNG. That was the last game of the day one, and Pioshik stealing Drake. I mean, it's not gonna be the last time we're gonna hear those words. You'll hear those words again. But yeah, DRX being RNG and then finish top of the group was not what I have in mind in my pick'ems. In fact, let's be honest, my pick'ems were garbage. My pick'ems for Worlds were absolute garbage. Like the worst pick'ems you're ever gonna get. And I can't blame them. I can't blame myself. I mean, this is what happens when you know what expectations beat reality. And boy, my expectations were not great. I supposed to have Gala becoming the person with the most pentakills. It didn't happen. Probably JDG winning Worlds. It did not even come close. And I picked like 3 matchups, semifinals and finals, and all of them were against them. So it was a really bad pick'ems for me. But I'm fine with that. I'm kind of fine with that. I'm kind of fine with that because we get to see great League of Legends, great quality entertainment, and great results. But DRX finishing top of the table over RNG was not what I expected. And I feel like RNG, this Worlds were not in themselves. Maybe because of COVID or something. And now that many of the players, including Xiaohu, which is probably their leader throughout all the years, including the Uzi years, is going to leave RNG, which is kind of like, I mean, it's a massive stuff for RNG to do that. Everybody except Breathe. I think I heard it from doing from his source. I mean, if you want to get the best Chinese use, you gotta go for the best mid laner in the West or the East. Actually most of the East. Sorry. But yeah, I think entire RNG team got it with Breed being the only one standing. I mean, that's gonna be rough for them. I mean, taking out Yahoo, who's probably the biggest leader on the team, it's really a big blow, man. I kind of feel bad for them, but I feel like RNG did not do themselves well, excluding the T1 series. But you know what? I'll get to that later. But DRX over top in RNG was a big surprise. Vietnam being back in Worlds is incredible. I feel so happy for Vietnam being back at Worlds. Saigon Buffalo and Gam were the 2 teams from Vietnam coming in, and they played some incredible games. Shogun with the pentakill again. They get in the game against Mad Lions. Gam with a huge win over Top Esports. We'll get to that. We'll get to the Top Esports one. Don't worry, I'll get to the groups. But having Vietnam back, having that entertaining, crazy style of League of Legends from a country that really produced some kind of great players from there. I think the only one was Soy Fan, but some entertaining play from an entertaining nation. It's so great to be back after all these times, and it's great to have them back. And oh boy, I would love to see them back again. I would love to see them back. MSI, Worlds. I mean, I want to see them more often. They're really entertaining puds. I really love Gam, and mostly Levi. So yeah, I love them stuff. Pretty entertaining stuff. My best moment, and let's be honest. First of all, I'm an LEC fan. I'm a European fan first and foremost. I think the reason is being that LEC is the only region that I see myself winning an international event better than NA. And look, this is not a knock on the NA casters or the NA or the players that are in NA or the NA personalities and all this stuff, but I see LEC as a region with a chance of putting themselves forward as a region that can win Worlds better than NA. And we came close like twice, so gotta take what it's given. And also we won MSI, so against NA, so take that as you will. And also we have an LEC Discord, which is much better than the LCS, so if you want to check that out, you know what, do so. But when EG beat Mad Lions 3-0, I kind of felt like, wow, I was incredibly happy. I was incredibly amazed that Evil Geniuses won, but I was currently surprised that it ended 3-0. I mean like Evil Geniuses with Kakoi, being the bot lane, and Jojo Pin being the mid lane, a young Jojo Pin who's like 19 right now, and Impact and Inspired and Vulcan, Vulcan with that team. I feel like Evil Geniuses did well at Worlds, even though the odds were really stacked against them in probably the main stage, in probably the play-in stage in groups. I mean, remember they have no Danny at that time, and probably Danny might never come back, which is sad for me because I really love Danny, and I feel like either the pressure was too much for him or he just reached a peak that he cannot reach. And Kakari did fine. Kakari did absolutely fine, even though he hasn't played 0 LCS games, regular season or otherwise, and they did fine. But I feel like Mad Lions were are probably the most disappointing LEC team, basically this year. Not making the playoffs in spring, making the playoffs but never win a single best of 5. And I think the only best of 5 they won is against Sega Buffalo. I mean, congratulations, you won a best of 5 against a Vietnam team. That's not gonna make any European fan feel happy. Also, congratulations on being the first ever team to be knocked out in the play-in stage twice. Now Armad is going to Dignitas. Yep, that's basically right. Yeah, it is what it is. Armad was kind of like a liability and an asset. He wasn't great. I mean, Narmut was the reason why he won the LEC title in spring last year, but other than that, he's not been highly elevated as a really good top laner, to be honest. And yeah, I feel for him. I mean, Unforgiven is gone as well. He's probably going to 100 Thieves as well. Karzi is coming back, which is great because Karzi was incredible. I think going back to an atmosphere that he loves and going back to a coach like Mac, it's great for him. And Loya was a big mystery. He was supposed to go to G2 with all the money being paid, but you say nah, and now. So I feel like next year will be a lot of pressure for Man Lions to succeed, including on Loya himself. But man, to see Man Lions crumble against a North American team and get swept like that, it just feels awful. Just absolutely feels awful. DFM getting a win against RNG. I mean, RNG beat them, but who cares? DFM beating RNG. And Evie's going big time. Evie's possibly going to Heretics in Europe. Okay, sorry, the camera is too weird. I mean, good for him. Good for Evie, man. I mean, I know it's sad for DFM to lose some kind of a personality like him, but to have that kind of personality in probably this region, and probably for a team like this and a new team like this, it's kind of good. I mean, there's some upside and there's some really big lots of downside in it, but to have that personality in an LEC, and I love the guy. I love Evie. I mean, other than the 4 regions I watch, I think Evie is kind of like my Evie. I could put Evie, Levi, Shogun in a bot lane, mid lane. I could put like a team of minor region players that I love, and I could put Evie on the top lane and nobody would be mad at me. That's how good he is. That's like really, really good at this. I could put Evie and then Rise, of course, in the top lane. So for the CFO team. But I love Evie. Evie for DFM is great, and got a game win over RNG was huge. First time RNG lost to a minor region team in any point during Worlds in any international competition, which is fantastic. Even though it ended 3-1 against RNG, I mean, you at least take something. You need to take something out of RNG. At least you won a game, which is a miracle. It's probably the best moment yet. Other than, making out of groups, beating Cloud9, making out of groups, which is, I feel like making out of groups, beating Cloud9 was the highest point ever. And then, beating RNG, getting the game was probably second, which is great. But I feel like right now, Japanese esports in particular is on the up and up. DFM doing well. Zeta Division did well in the Valorant scene. Nordemption did well in the Valorant scene. And you see crowds over the wazoo for the Valorant there's hundreds and hundreds of crowds clapping. So right now, I think like back then, Japanese esports is known like FGC games and all this stuff. But now you see like League of Legends coming along, and now you see like Valorant coming along, and you almost felt like Japanese esports in the up and up. And I feel like DFM right now is setting the trend of we're not just a fighting game country. We're just like we could be an anywhere country. You know what? We could just be good at League of Legends and the Valorant as well. So I feel like it's FGC first, and then League of Legends afterwards, and now Valorant comes in, and who knows what next. But yeah, DFM getting knocked out by RNG wasn't surprising, but to get a game out of them was pretty surprising, but also encouraging for them. And I'm sad that Evie's gonna leave for Europe, but hey, he's on to bigger and better things. Can't blame him. Can't blame the dude. He said he's gonna go to a bigger and better. He's going to showcase his talent from other regions, and I can't blame him. You know what? He's been there for a while. Just you know what? Come to Europe, see what you got, and if you work, great. If you don't, you can just go back to Japan. It no risk, no reward. No risk, no reward. Basically, that's it. Okay, group stage. Oh, I need some water. Oh, so week one of groups. Week one of groups. We were. EU and I think EU mostly were doing okay. Fnatic being T1. They were this close against EDG. The humanoid moment where Azir was like, humanoid was absolutely a beast. It's so strange. Like humanoid were meh during the regular season, but then come playoffs and worlds, he was amazing. The 3v1 play again with Silas in the ball lane of a rogue was incredible in itself. And his play against EDG was incredible in itself as well. It just makes you feel like, where was the humanoid from worlds to playoffs and probably like the regular season? If you didn't get the humanoid from regular season, I think patch change. It came from different patches, different play styles or something. But if you didn't get the humanoid from then, your team would have been like, maybe winning the LEC. Maybe, I'm not saying maybe winning the LEC, but probably like a 2 seed or something. So you would avoid the T1s in the world. But you wouldn't get in a really bad group anyways. So the first few weeks, NA sucks bad. They didn't win a game. They didn't get at least a first tower. It was already bad. Just imagine you've been waiting 6 years to have League of Legends World Championships coming to your backyard, and then you crap the bed by not winning a single game and not getting a tower objective. Like, that's just horrible. Just already had the bar. I get the bar already set low on the expectations. Now it's set like the maximum low. It's rock bottom. It's rock bottom. I'm sorry, man. I've seen Manchester United being rock bottom before, but this is just embarrassing. Oh, yeah. So it was bad. it was a horrible situation to be in. If you're an NA fan, and I feel for the NA people, they're really loving their teams. They really want to see their region and their teams doing well, but to see their region looking absolutely crap. They got wins. I think they got their 3 wins, but the writing was already on the wall from like the first week. 100 Thieves losing to CFO. Evil Geniuses were up against it, so did Cloud9. So I was never expecting something from Cloud9 or Evil Geniuses to do well, especially in that group with JDG and Downone here, and then T1 EDG. Like, yeah, you are really not gonna get out of the group based on those, and based on the meta, of course. So it was tough. And then week 2, and then Rogue Malorang was incredible in week 1. His Lee Sin game was incredible. Rogue were 3-0, and I was like, as a European fan, I'm seeing like Rogue 3-0 against DRX and top esports. Like, yeah, all right. All right, this is great. This is so great. I mean, we are doing well. We are doing well. Then week two happens. Oh my god! Oh my god! Week two was a disaster. Week two was an absolute disaster for the West, and I mean the East showed up. It felt like the East showed up, and it's. I mean, to be honest, the Eastern teams really showed up in this second week. But the West was just like when the momentum stopped, it stopped. I mean, one win from EU all through second week, and that was Rogue against Gam. Yeah, they haven't beaten a Chinese team or a Korean team throughout the second week. I feel like they want. I feel like they got 3 wins against Eastern teams and none for the second week, and they lost 3 games to all, and they lost 2 games to North America. You have lost more games. You have lost more games to North America in the second week than you have against Eastern teams, and it was not a pretty sight. Trust me, I say this. It was not a pretty sight for anybody for the West, and it was kind of like a doomsday. And to be honest, I mean, the East were incredible. I mean, T1 smashing the ADG was incredible as well. T1 was looking fantastic. Faker was incredible. Down Monkey versus JDG produced 2 of my favorite matchups. The first one was incredible. The second one, the tiebreaker one, was, I mean, after Down Monkey won the second head-to-head, the tiebreaker one is where 369 absolutely popped the hell off with his Aatrox game. It was incredible. Yeah. And I feel like the reason why Rogue make it out of groups is because when Top Esports stole Elder Dragon and ran down the base against Gam, I was calling it. I was like, game over. Top Esports going to win this one. Top Esports going to win this one. They're going to make this interesting. And the way Top Esports finished the group, I would have said, man, Top Esports would have come out. Listen, we were just if Top Esports would have beat Gam, this entire tournament would have been Korea-China. It would have been Korea versus, it would have been LPL, LCK brackets, and there'll be hundreds of Reddit posts in the League of Legends Reddit posts going in an absolute meltdown. It will be a meltdown of the century. I mean, forget about us not winning worlds. Seeing China and Korea being in the quarterfinals makes you feel sick. It makes you feel sick as a Western region. Like, imagine, like, looking at the bracket and seeing, like, all Korea, all Chinese teams in the bracket. You would feel sick. You would feel sick. I mean, if you see, like, all Europeans, maybe South Americans in your World Cup bracket, you'll be fine. You'll be fine because these teams are the best. I mean, if you're Korea, if you're, like, Asia or Africa or North America, seeing these teams in the bracket, you're Europeans and South Americans, you'll be fine. You'll be fine because these teams are good. You know what? We were not great, and that's expected. But for a League of Legends fan, seeing Korea and China in the bracket, oh my god, it'll be Chernobyl. It will be absolute Chernobyl in that Reddit post. And trust me, I say this, we were this close to happen. But when the Nexus was broken, and then Levi Cartus with the incredible R, the Requiem R, and then Set, I don't know where my name is, but I remember the moment. It was, okay, I didn't remember all the names, I didn't remember the moment, but there was one cannon minion down the lane, and Orin have to kill the minion, and he did. He died, but he managed to suck up all the health and kill that minion so that the rest of the team would buy back. And then it was a Requiem, and then it was Set hitting them, and then everybody dies, and I was thinking, okay, this game is already crazy enough. What's even more crazy? Well, go Nexus to Nexus. Go Nexus to Nexus. And they did it. They won the game. Like, unbelievable. But that is incredible. I mean, first ever win by a Vietnam team in like a while. And it took against a top esports team. Like, that's a really sad, slightly disappointing top esports because I feel like, I feel like the format kind of flawed with all these group stage games, like it just felt like group stage is kind of like a glorified best of one fiesta. Like think about it. Playing stage. I mean, you're gonna get in the playing stage one, two best of five games between the teams from each group, and then two best of five games to go to the play-ins. That's four already. And then you got like quarterfinals, and then semifinals, and then finals. That's 11 best of one, best of five games. 11. And then you get like what? Lots and lots of best of ones or group stages and play-ins. Like it's the same thing with the MSI video that I did. MSI had like more best of five, both best of ones, and they have best of fives. Of course, they're gonna change all that, which, thank you, Jesus. Something that I really wanted to have a format change. I really want format changes from MSI and Worlds for a really long time, and it's not because I really want the Western teams to do well, but I just want more competition, man. I just want more games. I want more drama. I want more. I mean, you see NFL, you see NBA doing it with more games, and you see the NFL doing one more game and one more playoff thing so that you can have more money and all this kind of stuff. I mean, yeah, health and safety, you know, who cares? We get more games, we get more entertainment, we get more money. That's what we want. We want more. And I'm glad that we're going to get more out of that. We're going to get an international tournament, and it'll be great. I would really love the elimination, but you know what? That's neither here or there. I'll link the interview to John Neiman by Travis Bradford down in the description box, you know, for a little discussion about it. He'll talk about other things, of course, but mostly about that. And about the LCS as well. I'll talk about the LCS. But it kind of I feel bad for Top Esports because I feel like the way Top Esports played that second week, I feel like they should have gone through. But because of how flawed this format can be, it kind of felt like Rogue gone through, but do they absolutely deserve it? Week 1, yes. Week 2, not so much. It kind of felt like part of you feel happy that Rogue made it, but part of you feel like they didn't deserve it as much. They didn't earn their way into it. They kind of feel lucky, you know. And also, taking away Odawame's tanks kind of feel like he's a liability than an asset. I guess this is the reason why Rogue kind of get rid of him, but why? I mean, Odawame, I get it. He's not been great, but he's your leader of the team. He's been a tank, basically, pun intended, for your whole team throughout the thing. He finally got his championship after all these years, and you could just run back the squad. Yes, you gotta have a new name. You know, basically a new name. You're gonna be Koi Gaming, of course, next year. You got like 4 of the 5 players in there, and then you decide you give up Odawame. You're giving up Odawame for Shigenza. I know his name. I'm sorry, but you're giving up for Shigenza. Like, and now who's the leader of this team? Not Trembiev is Nas's game. Not Malrang. His English is not great. No disrespect to him. And not Larson. It's kind of Kump. I mean, I know Larson has been the face of the team. He's been to the team forever, but he's not a leadership kind of guy. Yeah, it's going to be rough for... I'm not saying it's going to be rough for Rogue, but it's going to be, like, really rough to not have that leadership on top anymore. And look, it's the same thing with G2. It's the same thing what happened to G2 after losing Perks. It's the same thing that happened to Fnatic after probably losing Reckless. You know, not having that leadership on that team, not having that core value, that face of the team for so long, that guy to bring the team together, it's gonna fall apart. And I mean, I know. I mean, it's a different format next year, of course, but I just don't feel great about Rogue or Koi actually going next year. But who knows? I may be wrong. So, DRX was good, and then Group D, Genji, RNG, yeah. So group stages were kind of like, there were some great games, but you know, they were meh in the group stage. I need to refill this glass and then come back for the knockouts. Sorry about that. Football game is going on right now, so I'm not gonna put the audio in. It's Eagles versus Commanders. Got probably the Eagles winning. Yeah. Let's talk about the knockouts. I mean, I gotta say these were the most entertaining of the worlds right now. I feel like I mentioned there should have been a double elimination in the worlds format, and I can totally understand it's best for now. Consider like what we got and what we had. My mind saying double elimination. And look, if you wanted to make a single elimination work, get rid of the group stage, play-in, best of one crap out of the way. It'll be fine. But I feel like double elimination is the way to go in most esports. The LEC, the LCS, the LPL have done double elimination. I get it. You know what? I get it. It's high stakes and everything. Every sport's doing it. But you're not every sport. You're an e-sport. You're different. Just at least be different. You know, just look at Valorant. Valorant got praised because they do double elimination. They got praised because they do double elimination. They did something different. You know what? And Worlds have been done this since years and years ago. Like, I don't know, since 2014-ish. Yeah, I call it 2014. And also, I think bubble single elimination kind of robbed us of some great games. IGKT 2018 was incredible. We didn't get that. 2019, I feel like, 2019, I feel like we didn't get. I feel like we don't know which game was best, but we kind of get robbed of that one. We should have got JDG and Top Esports battling it out, but instead Sunin just ramping down and destroy everybody's brackets. I mean, Sunin was great, but I was really hoping for JDG Top Esports, and then Damwon Kia Team 1 last year was incredible. It was an incredible matchup, and that was the finals right there. And EDG Damwon Kia was great, and EDG winning the Worlds was incredible, but Top Esports Damwon Kia was incredible last year. Trust me, it was incredible last year. But that does not rob us. But despite the single elimination flaws, it still produced some great matches. JDG Rogue was not even close, to be honest. JDG Rogue was not even close, to be honest. And Game 3 was kind of fine, and then Malrang missing some cues. It was not even close, to be honest. And to be honest, I feel like it was JDG series the whole way. That was like, I get it, on Rogue with the last Western team left, the last hope of EU, going against the best team in the LPL. Maybe they can mind pull an upset. We've seen this before, but it kind of felt like 2019 we were from 2018. Before 2018 we were from this, and then after 2018 we come from this, and then 2019 we come from this, 2020 and now this, and now 2021 this year. It's a big gap. It's a big gap, and trying to close it is not going to be possible. I mean, yeah, it was rough. I feel for them. I feel for Rogue. I feel for everybody, trying to trying to, dump on Rogue, And I think they don't deserve the hate as much because they're the last Western team ever. But it was a mismatch. It was a mismatch from the beginning. I mean, there was no way Rogue can at least get a game against Rogue. Like, I would rather see DFM get in a game over JDG than Rogue. So, yeah, that hurts. T1 versus RNG was kind of good. My favorite moment for the T1 RNG series was Faker absolutely ballsy, and Gumayushi was smurfing on that. Zaya. It was a Zaya. He Faker playing at Kali. He was incredible. It was the Elder Dragon fight, and Faker went absolutely off on that one. Gumayushi popped it off. They won the game, and they probably won the series. And I think RNG's mental kind of broke it after that. In that game 3, so it was kind of brutal. It was kind of brutal. To be honest. So that was that. I mean, that was a 3-0 that I never expected. I think in T1 RNG, two of the greatest organizations to ever grace, two of the most successful organizations with two of the most successful players. I mean, Zhao, not as much, but Faker, as much. But Faker being Faker, there are three things that are certain in life. Death, taxes, and Faker being RNG. I mean, it was not even close. I was surprised that the series went 3-0 like that. It was just, man, that was brutal. And then we came to the Saturday and Sunday's game. And, oh boy, let me tell you something in terms of skill alone. So there were two categories. Skill, intense, incredible moments. Genji Damonki was incredible. Genji Damonki was my favorite game of the year. Entertainment, emotional, dramatic. DRX, EDG. I'm going with the skillful one. There were so many great moments. Genji winning 2-0 up was incredible. I'm sorry. There were so many Worlds matches, and now it's been like a couple of weeks, so I can't remember all the details. But yeah, Ruler, Nami Ruler was impressive. You know what? They were impressive early on. They were up 2-0. They were impressive. They were dominating over Damonki. Everybody was, oh my god, we were thinking, oh my god, another 3-0 sweep again. I think that was many people thought about it. Then it was Canyon Showmaker, Dom popping off. Canyon game 3 with the swing. Incredible. The 3-man knockoff in the mid tower was incredible. And then the Azir game, and then he was popping off again in the second game, and then the fifth game, and when it was the Canyon Kane. I mean, Canyon was incredible, was pretty good, right? To be honest, in those games, it was a Canyon Kane knockoff 3, scattered a week by Syndra Showmaker, and just killed him off. And at that moment, I was thinking, oh my god, I feel like Damonki had done it. And it was a pretty close fight. It was a really good close fight. I just don't know why Atlas Chronicle never got to cast the rest of the finals along the way. I have no budge with the finals casting, but I just felt horrible that Riot had to kick out the Korean caster after the Worlds matchups. Like, I just don't understand. Again, that's not a here or there, but that's kind of feel disgusting. That was Atlas's final game, Atlas Chronicles' final games by they cast this year. It was incredible. But also, I feel like that's the problem with the single elimination, that, guys, we know these two teams are going to play close. Why have to show this matchup again? Anyways, Ruler popped the hell off, get a quadra kill, game over, top lane. Chovy go to his first semifinals was great. And here's a fascinating fact. Genji beating Damonki in every single matchup by a score of 14-8. Sorry. 14-8. And the Eagles just scored a touchdown already. Well, this game could be over by the second quarter. Anyways, 14-8. 14-8, Genji over Damonki in the series. But every single series went to a decider. Every single one. From the 3-game series to the 5-game spring semifinals, in which Atlas literally lost his hair on that one, to this. I mean, we knew these two teams were going to be close. I mean, but at 2-0, to be honest, I was thinking Genji will sweep them, but Damonki pulled it back and nearly won the game. I mean, it was really good. It was really intense. So yeah, it was a blow. I feel bad for Damonki. They played fantastically. I feel like Damonki has provided me with 3 of my favorite games of all time, probably the favorite games. The 2 JDG ones in this series alone against Genji. I felt like, had we been a double elimination, I would say Damonki would have at least played decently well and gone close. So yeah, I kind of felt bad for Kenny and Showmaker. They were good. They were absolutely good. And absolutely good for their money, you know. I think like Nuri was kind of like a liability and asset. And the ball lane was somewhat non-existent. It has to be like Kenny and Showmaker, like literally carrying this team all the way. So yeah, I kind of felt bad, but Genji advanced. DRX, EDG. Oh my god. After not making to a quarterfinals and past semifinals in mostly 3,000 days. So we need to talk about game two. Game one was an EDG destroying. We need to talk about game two. Oh my boy. So Israel is about to TP into the inhibitor, into the Nexus space. Flandre Sejuani stop Aatrox from even recalling the base. I mean, I feel like if Aatrox would have recalled the base, I feel like game one would have been, game two would have been DRX all the way. Um, so Israel was attacking the Nexus, and I was thinking, okay, game two DRX. Then the inhib response. And trust me, I will say this, even though you are not a fan of this team and of Dev, of LCK, your heart literally breaks at that moment. This is a guy who has played for 6 teams, made it to Worlds in every single one, having not made quarterfinals, played for that EDG team that beat Faker and SKT won in the very first MSI in 2015 in Tallahassee of all places. I mean, yeah. And he hasn't had much of great luck or great moments. I mean, the Hana Life esports team that he had, back in 2020 with Chovy, by the way, as his teammate. I got absolutely clapped by T1, to be honest. So, when that happens, in EDG 1, you're thinking to yourself, that's it. Series over. Series is definitely over. You feel it. You and I, and probably the audience and many people watching it, you feel it. You know that the series is over. And that's where the incredible Cinderella story have another page and a turn. That played Draven, which he haven't won. I remember that correctly. And he popped off incredibly. 2 moments. Pioshe playing Kindred, which is actually my favorite champion. I have a wallpaper in my phone. It's the Spirit Blossom Kindred on my phone, not the current skin. Anyway, Pioshe getting the Herald, and then Draven got the kill before he died, which is giving him a bigger cash in. I think that was what Jack Leishman said. He got a bigger cash in than the bot lane, and he snowballed into hell and won game 2 all by himself. And I was thinking, okay, at least I got a game. Here we go. Game 2 happens, in which DRX once again annihilate them. And it kind of felt like the longer the series goes, the more Scout played iffy and iffier as the minute, and Zeka was amazing. Zeka was amazing this tournament. I mean, Zeka was amazing this whole bracket run. Zeka was incredible. So game 4 happens. DRX could absolutely obliterate EDG. Then game 5 happens. Zeka gets a solo kill over Scout. Okay, cool. Okay. Then Zeka gets a solo kill on Scout. Then he did it again. And again. 4 times. Zeka, a 19-year-old player who played for Vici Gaming under Coma back in the LPL from 2019, came to DRX, came to his very first World Championships, and solo killed an MVP, one of the best players on EDG, probably one of the best players in all the world, 4 times in the quarterfinals, game 5. On Silas, his champion. Like, why? Why on earth did EDG have to do this? Like, does EDG have no common sense knowing that Zika Silas is incredibly broken on him? Like, but the strangest thing about it is that the whole DRX run would have been a little bit cleaner how they would have been winning some games without being like having self-inflicted wounds, and they kind of self-inflicted. I remember when they were coming down and they're trying to kill Sejuani.